It being now
Sarah?
4:10, we'll
Joe?
call the meeting to order. The DPW Facility Committee. And first order on the list here is Weston and Sampson. I guess at this point, it's just to review where we stand and what they've done everything with the exception of the presentation stuff for.
Yeah, I could give you a 2-second update from Jeff.
Okay, great.
I didn't call him down because I just didn't.
Yeah, no, I didn't see much point in.
So I said, give me everything else we already talked about. You know, everything's done, completed down the list. Right now, they're in the process of assembling the completed documents for the schematic design report. So they're putting together everything they've done for you. They're putting it all together in one final document.
Okay, great.
To deliver that for record purposes. And most everything we've been working very busily on, Weston and myself, is the fuel depot. The fuel depot is now officially out to bid. The pre-bid meeting is March 3rd next week, and bids will be open on March 24th. So that's the status on that.
And I take it there really isn't any, I mean, as far as the peer review.
Oh, that's coming up. That's right. I got something on there. Go ahead.
Is that something that we're gonna put in front of Weston and Sampson, or for their comment, or their response to, or is that just something completely independent of?
Well, that's a good question. But let me tell you where it's at and maybe what the thoughts, I think we'll decide what to do with it when we get it. I mean, if they come up with good ideas, I think we're going to say, okay, Jeff, hey, what do you think?
Right.
Do we want to incorporate this? What's your thoughts on this? So, are we moving on to peer review?
Yeah,
Okay.
might as well.
All right. So, John Savas, we hired CSS Architects, who was the #2 firm the first time we went out for an RFP, and they were very good. They didn't respond the second time. Whatever. So, but John Savasta, one of the owners, was willing to do the peer review. So we reached. Remember, we were looking at the other #2 firm, and there might have been a conflict because they were kind of working with Weston. So this firm doesn't work with Weston. So they.
Name of the company?
That was HK.
CSS Architects. Guy's name is John Savasta.
It was HKT who was.
That was the last one.
That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
the conflict because they
Right.
worked together.
Right. So, we sent everything over to John about a month or so ago. He went on vacation for a little bit, so it was a little time delay. But we sent everything right up to date. Everything that Weston and Sampson has done from beginning with the January report of last year. Remember, that's all the way through. Everything all out to him. So he came out today with one of his partners. And we had a nice discussion. We drove around, looked at. They wanted to see some of the existing facilities. They wanted to see the G'daya Hill site. We walked around the G'daya Hill site a little bit. He doesn't have anything firm yet to share, and that will be coming to us soon, sometime in March. I said, even if you don't have a final document, the sooner you can get me draft comments, like just the nuts and bolts of what you think and suggestions that we can share and start looking at as you put together a final document. He says he would be happy to do that. Overall, generally, my impression of what their impression is, that it was very well done. All the planning to date, all the work that's been done, he really liked. He had some questions, some good questions. I answered them. He's like, okay, now I understand.
Like what kind of questions?
Let's see. Questions about, what are you planning on doing with this large room, which was the muster room, the lunch room, the train? Oh, is that going to be for outside meetings? I said, well, probably not. Maybe we could, and you know what I mean. But so he's like, okay. There's more program questions kind of thing. He did have some like comments that they will suggest. I said, put that in a report, like. Like you get the main waiting area for people, and then you got the waiting area for the sticker folks, and in the middle there's a unisex bathroom, for customers. And he goes, well, you get 2 doors from each waiting room. He says, if someone goes in and locks one door but forgets to lock the other one, or
right.
He says you could have an issue there. He says, you could turn that. With that space, without losing any real space, you could put a hall between there with the bathroom. And I said, really, you can make that work? He says, yeah, we can. I said, well, that's a good suggestion. So there were things like that. One other thing that I thought was interesting was, the little square we talked about doing as an adult?
Yeah.
Well, they brought that up. We were looking at that a little bit, and I said, well, yeah, the committee talked about that and said, maybe we do an adult, maybe not build it out, but box it in, this and that. And they said, you may really, and he'll put this in a report, want to really consider that. He says, they just did a project, I forget what town he said, DPW, and he said, they find that type of space, you might pay 25% of what you would spend. You know what I mean? Like later, or while you do it now. Yeah, so he was like, you may want to think about that. And he'll put it in the report. So it's something we can talk about as we go through design process. What do we want to do with that space? They asked about growth. They're like, well, what are you going to do? A lot of the stuff that you guys touched on, he asked about. What are your thoughts on growth? And I said, well, look at this. It's Hawkeye story. Future, maybe if we need to grow, that could become this and then that the materials or whatever's stored there would go upstairs in mezzanine. And he said, well, what do you got for mezzanines? He didn't see anything yet. It's actually generated after we started with them. So I printed them a copy of that. So we talked about mezzanines. We talked about pot storage. Is it sufficient? They just wrapped up a project, and the head mechanic, the one thing he's regretting is his office is too small. He's like, it's as much responsibility as my own. You know what I mean? But, it was a little too small. So we talked about available space and storage, and I'm just kind of doing it off the top of my head. So,
Did that meeting take place, Tom?
What's that? That was today.
Today?
Yeah. We met at 11 o'clock, and they were around for about 3 hours. So, so they're going to get back to us with comment. I think overall, generally, I think they were quite pleased with how it all came together. And then gaining with the meeting, gaining more understanding of the site and the program. And then they looked at our existing facilities, and we're like, wow.
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That would have been the easy part.
Yeah, that was the easy part. We're headed to G'day, but they were interested in. I didn't see them all. We stopped at Highway and drove by Harbor Master, and I talked to them about how they were moving, and talked about all the coordination of Fuel Depot and police and DPW project and all that. Had a good conversation about OPMs.
Okay.
More of an administrative standpoint, but it was a very good conversation about OPM and some potential people they've worked with who are very good. So it could have some impacts on other projects, maybe, that I'll talk to Mr. Kelly about.
Mr. Chairman, once they get that final report to you, should probably include either a executive summary or something in your report on what that peer review guy says.
Because, it was mentioned in our charge, specific that, the peer review was, and obviously there's no point in going through all this without,
Right.
including it as part of the feasibility. Okay. Yeah, because I think one of the big values to the peer review was to look at it as not so much as specific cost issues right now, but the bigger picture in that, if we're doing a facility for 50 years, whoever's going to be running this 10 years from now may have, a different management style.
Yeah.
I think I saw that as being kind of a value to the peer review, being as it was decided we had to do it anyway, but.
If I may share just one other thing that they commented that I'm remembering that was interesting to me, because they kind of brought it up a little. It came up in conversation. They kind of nudged the conversation we were just talking, and they actually, I think they'll make the comment, would encourage the water department to be totally at DPW, including Sue and Laura upstairs. Move them out of the hall.
Okay. That question came up. I met with the finance committee. They invited me to just kind of get in and touch bases with them and I gave it basically a brief presentation to them. That was 2 weeks ago. There were some questions that came up, and one of them was all the water department going to go over there? And I had said, well, I thought that was pretty much the game plan, given the general philosophy of keeping everything in, efficiency-wise on one campus and, in the same place. As far as there was going to be a public, facility there, that it was my understanding that was going to happen there. And one of the issues was, well, geez, now what are you going to do with the office space in Town Hall? I said, well, I didn't know, but that question did come up, and obviously didn't have a real specific answer for it. But where
I was a year and a half ago in this process, or a year ago saying this process, was I wanted it all to come to DPW. I think it made sense operationally. Even, we have a public interface. There is value having water admin in the hall because if there's, if someone's paying their bill for the water bill, they can easily go upstairs and talk about meter readings, this and that. But I still think the pros outweigh the cons. However, I know John wasn't 100% in favor of that. We had gone back and forth a little bit. What's the right thing to do with basically Sue and Laura upstairs? I thought there's value in adding space to town hall. I mean, when's the next time you're going to add space to town hall? Not in our lifetimes, probably. So I think that's value in that. But quite honestly, with this committee really trying to drive down costs last year,
Yeah.
I gave it up. I gave up that square footage in the DPW facility to save cost. So we'll see what they come back with, and that's a conversation maybe we'll have in a few months and go, okay, now we're going into final design, hopefully, and what do we want to do? Do we want to add 300 square feet or 500 square feet, whatever that is, back in the facility? But then you're talking another, what's that? 300.
Which gets me back to
300 a square foot, so that's
including
15 grand.
Including that
Is that
question.
500?
Yeah.
Yeah, 15 grand.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a lot, but do we want to do that and have that space and free it up here? And so these are things that are going to come up. It was just something else that came up I thought was interesting comment.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I don't know what admin is. Maybe it's 25,000 value. I don't know. We have to look at square footage and what they are carrying for costs. But
Yeah. Okay. Because I mean, I would see that question as being, a perfect peer review thing.
Yeah.
To get a second comment about. I mean, to me, it doesn't make much sense to move everybody over there and then leave, 2 office administration people here. I mean,
I agree. But trying to balance it all, costs, what people think is the right
just
thing
as a
to
side
do.
commentary, one of the things that, and we've experienced it here tonight, is apparently there's a real shortage of meeting spaces. So that could be, an efficient use of that space if it,
Ron Collins needs an office.
Yeah,
He's
okay.
stuck in the corner of the assessors,
Okay.
Perfect space for him to go to.
Well, he's with us in DPW now.
Well, yeah, and here again, we get back to the efficiency of that. I mean, I would think that Ron really would be better located with you guys.
I would think
mean,
so.
Well,
I would think
that's true, too.
You know,
But aren't some of the other departments bulging? Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
Just
buildings-
space-wise, buildings,
But
yeah.
It will fill with good space. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just,
All right, well, the question came up, and I think we should have a definitive answer for, it is our intention to either move everybody over there or not, but,
right now, it's not.
okay,
Yeah, it's not in the budget, it's not in the
It's
plan.
not in it right now.
Okay.
It's been taken out.
Yeah.
So, but we're at schematic. We're going into final, hopefully. When we
Yeah.
go into final, that'll be the time to really nail this down and say, this is what we want to do.
okay.
Could we save those costs somewhere else to make that move? I'm sure we could, but, we have to go through that effort with the designer.
One of the other requests from the Finance Committee was maybe some return on investment, 20-year, and you and I talked about this as to where we might go that way. But because there are a lot of abstracts, I mean, how many more years are you going to get out of a truck, putting it inside, efficiencies and all the rest of that. They were looking for some input that way, and I'm assuming that's 20 years, that must be the bond life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They were also looking for some, I told them we would get some ongoing maintenance numbers, utilities, janitorial, those expenses that we're going to see as being added to the facility, expense of the facility every year. And I told them I'd get back to them with, some numbers that way.
I will, you and I talked a little bit about this earlier in the week or last week. I had a couple of things,
Yeah.
deadlines that,
Yeah.
I think I just wrapped one up before this meeting, so I think I'm in pretty good space to start plugging with Jeff. I told Jeff this stuff was coming. We have a lot of this already, it's just a matter of putting it together. And we need to do some more analysis, but we got a lot of it already done.
And I think the Finance Committee in that presentation, quite frankly, I think to me is just kind of a warm-up to the Citizens Forum, which we are scheduled for May 31st from 3:30 to 5. That should be critical for 2 reasons. First off, I think it's
the
usually
date?
attended by
What's the date? Sorry.
Orleans Citizens
Orleans
Forum,
what date?
Citizens Forum.
May
March 31st.
March 31st.
at the Orleans Senior Center?
I have a conflict, but I'll have to avoid my other conflict, and this is probably
Yeah, I
more
think we talked
important.
about this, too.
Yeah. It's all right, we'll make it work.
Yeah, I mean, this is, anybody that's been to any of them, I think it's kind of critical mass for a lot of reasons. I mean, obviously, it's a pretty interested section of the community that usually comes out, and I think it's kind of a perfect rehearsal for town meeting.
I think we should probably, if you think, maybe bring Jeff there.
That was requested, and I've already made him available that way. I think we talked about this.
Did I already tell him?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, we had this conversation. I'm assuming
Yeah.
that.
I'll double check, I'll make sure.
You had indicated there was no problem with him being on board.
Yeah, I'll make sure Jeff is there. 3:30, okay. 30 for us.
Okay, so that brings us to bid alternates. Maybe we've already touched on that. We sort of have the problem of if the two bid alternates that we really have at this point were discussed or part of the process were that administrative office addition and the cold storage facility.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm assuming those two things would add roughly $1 million to where we're going to be. Because cold storage is
Cold
what,
storage is
800?
like 900,000, yeah.
Yeah,
Something like that.
and that addition is, well, I guess,
I might not be, I'd put that as number one, that admin, because I think that's gonna be cheaper. And you have to put them in order that you're gonna pick.
yeah.
So I'd do the administrative office area.
I just have, a real phobia about us taking us over our construction number.
I think we talked a little bit, I think we did, last time. I think I mentioned it with the selectmen also. For the time being, until there is some decision on Bay Ridge, we could always, hopefully, God willing, move into a new facility on Godiah Hill and mothball Bay Ridge, but utilize it as cold storage.
Yeah.
And then as some time the decision is made on Bay Ridge, if we have to evacuate, then we make that decision on what to do with cold storage. Cold storage, do we build a cold storage like we've shown on our plans at Godiah Hill? Do we put it somewhere else?
Well, I mean, the issue is that we have options for that.
We have options. Yes,
we have a place we can go
options.
now.
Yes.
In
Right.
fact, if there was any problem solved, it's cold storage. The rest of it
Right.
we don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody got anything else to add to this?
I thought cold storage we were going to leave in last time.
It was
It's not a builder alternate as part of the,
no, it's not. It wasn't part of the original. It
Not in the
was.
numbers.
okay.
It was something that was added later on.
It's
So
not
Do we
included.
have do we have an order that these bid alts are gonna go in, or are we gonna hold off on that decision?
Well, I think Tom was saying if he had his preference, it would be the administrative cost alternative being considered first, and then cold storage.
Okay.
And really, you don't have to make a decision for about another year.
Say that again?
You don't have to make a decision for another year. We're not in design yet. The actual bid alternate discussion will be final or really focused in say 10 months from now, as long as town meeting votes funds the design, because then we'll go through the design process, we'll make all those detailed decisions, and then we'll have up-to-date cost estimates, more detailed cost estimates, better than we have now. So we'll know as best as we can what our actual costs are, and we say, okay, so and then we'll decide what's our target number, for sure, based on the cost estimates, and then we'll do and through design, I'm sure we're gonna come up with maybe some other ad alternates, who knows?
Yeah. The only thing that bothers me is my gut's telling me that 3% inflation number isn't going to cover.
Isn't enough in the estimate.
I don't think that's reflecting what the market's going to tell us. Okay. Final report. What, and just to reiterate, what we're gonna, once we get the peer review, really the only thing that's left for us to do is a final report and town meeting presentation,
Right.
in addition to the, which is not part of our charge, but the citizens forum thing. Okay.
Well, the citizens forum is gonna, in effect, be a public hearing.
Yeah, it will be, but it's
Yeah, 'cause-
not. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's not official, but.
Exactly.
But people will come to that where they won't even come to a public hearing.
I know
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Where is that held?
Senior center?
Senior
Yeah.
Citizen Center. Rock Harbor Road.
They've had a historical society before, right? Or have they not? Am I thinking
No.
of
They
different?
usually do it at the senior center only
Yeah.
because
Alright, okay.
I think that, it's accessibility-wise,
Yeah.
parking and,
Right.
They
you know,
just had,
facilities.
They
if you-
can film it and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
exactly.
they just had the town center plan there. They just
Right.
with Thayer and
Right.
What's that?
Would they be able to
McLennan
PowerPoint
and-
presentation showing the plans and
Yeah, you can do a PowerPoint.
models
Yeah.
of what it looks like? Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll plan. Okay, all right. Just
Yeah.
know what I'm dealing with, getting ready for. Basically, we should have our town meeting. We'll have an abbreviated one ready for town meeting, but we should have a full presentation ready for the citizens forum. Not 100 slides, but just
Yeah.
a good presentation of what we're talking about.
Oh, I
They're
think
gonna
we have-
limit, they're gonna limit you to 2 hours. I
Um,
think.
Yes, it's a,
Are you the only one? Are we the only one?
yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Really?
3:30 to 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we got
2
an hour and
hours
a
and
half.
a half.
Okay, so if we do a 20-minute, we can do a very detailed, good presentation in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You get a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
We'll be ready for that.
Yeah, okay. Well, we can do that.
Yeah.
We can work up
Yeah.
a thing. And,
So that's what we really got to be. When we're ready for that, we'll be ready for town meeting.
Oh, yeah.
So that means we're going to be ready for this. So our goal is that date.
yeah. Yeah, no, that to me is,
So we got a month
Critical mass here.
to be ready to go.
Yeah.
For anything.
yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Very good.
Okay.
That just turned into a new priority.
As far as the final report is concerned, do you guys have, have anything in particular that you want to include in that, or? Because otherwise, I'm going to draft something up and then
You'll
we'll,
draft it?
we'll.
It's fine.
we'll go
I
back
think
and
you've done a
forth
pretty
and-
good job,
Okay.
or boy.
I mean, it's basically an executive overview. You're going to
Yeah, okay.
attach to the peer review. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can even take a printed copy of your slides and
Sure.
put that in as the report.
Oh, yeah, we got plenty of material. I mean, I think,
Tons of backup.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we got a lot of visuals.
I will, I'm going to see if I can start putting together for you all the backup. I'll send to you a PDF version so to get your brain going. Everything. The estimates, the PowerPoint that Jeff did the last meeting,
Yep.
all that stuff. That really brings it together. The current plans, up to date, mezzanine plans. Because there's a couple things that are a little scattered. I'll put it all together in one place for you.
As part of when I go back to Finance Committee, whenever that is, I was going to go through that, the estimate, and pick out some numbers there. And I know that I don't want to just give them that sheet cold, because that's confusing with, discerning the markups and, the additional things. But I was going to simplify that and break
Gotcha.
that down.
Right.
They were real interested in square footage numbers, and I think where this was going, and I think I tried to address that, but they want in the worst way to compare this to the police station, and it just, you can't
Not
do
Not the
that.
same. No.
They're two entirely different things.
Vehicle maintenance compared to the vehicle storage in my facility is night and day.
Yeah, no,
It's almost twice as much for vehicle maintenance as opposed to the storage area.
right, but.
Admin's in the middle.
Yeah, and I think I adequately addressed that, but, and there were a couple other people that came back and said, yeah, that came across that way, but, I know there's, a considerable amount of concern about where the costs are going on the police station and how much, and, why the differences, but.
The bid's coming so fast, 3, 4 weeks?
Yeah.
4 weeks, you're gonna have numbers, doesn't matter what the estimate is, you get numbers in 4 weeks.
Yeah,
It's gonna
Yeah.
be what it's gonna be.
yeah,
23rd, I think.
Well, the important thing is that when you make your presentation to the citizens forum, since it's higher amount than is allowed in the capital plan now,
Yep.
that if we don't amend the capital plan and change it, which would be difficult to do for the Board of Selectmen to change that to bring it in, that citizens forum thing is going to get you the 3/4 vote you need to change your figure
Yeah,
from
yeah,
12 to 13.
yeah, because those people at the forum will be at town meeting.
That's correct. So your citizens forum presentation
That's
is
huge.
is huge.
Yeah, no,
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're gonna gear up for. Okay,
Yeah.
good. I got a month, plenty of time to
Yeah.
really put it together.
Mhm.
yeah,
I've got a lot of stuff behind
And
me. at
and
this
I
point.
think it's a very good idea if you have the consultant there that we've been working with, because if they pick some minute little question,
yeah, no, he's
He
been,
can answer
yeah,
that.
he's been great that way. I mean, I thought,
Jeff?
yeah, yeah, I mean, just, the way he's handled everything along here, I think we've got a really good.
So let me ask you a question. Say we do a presentation, primarily me or primarily Jeff, what do you think would be better? I don't care.
Oh, shut up.
I'm gonna try doing this primarily only because I'm
Fine, you were the other thought.
I'm
on it.
kind of the medium person here.
Okay.
I mean,
So
you've
we're
got
gonna-
your,
We're gonna put something together and set you up.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
and then you
You guys
answer
being available there.
DPW
yeah,
Right.
operation questions, you
Okay.
answer,
yeah,
Okay.
and the details from the plan, Jeff answers.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It's
Yeah, that's-
usually set up as a panel.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's how I'd see that going. I think that would be
Okay.
the most effective way to do that.
Very good. I'll let Jeff know.
Okay. Shall we move on to the minutes?
Fix that key thing.
You want Pete?
Yeah, yeah.
Mention that to him?
What's that?
That Bogman key thing, have you mentioned that to him?
There we go.
Your son? Remember he was gonna look up the photo, that, remember the block thing? He was gonna look that up. That Bogman key.
I'll have to ask him.
It was an L300.
Oh, I made you some keys, they work okay,
Oh,
right?
they're great, yeah, I'll say. There were two parts, one was the keys, but then it was the, hold on, I'll show you.
I like that terminology, infill.
Think about it. Let me see if I can-
I gotta finish the proposal for the
Yeah, come on.
rekey and all those things. I've surveyed every building,
Yes, I know, wait, yesterday, that's what you're
19
doing,
of
right?
them.
I'll keep you.
Do I hear a motion?
I move that we accept the minutes as written.
Okay, in a second. All right.
Second it.
22nd. And we'll put it to a vote. Aye?
Aye.
It's this thing.
Okay. That takes care of that.
That thing. Just that's what's broken. That whole thing is $50 online.
Okay, that leaves
And you get it.
items for the
Crazy.
future agenda,
That's what I'm.
which I guess at this point is peer review,
Oh, it's your preparation for your,
right, our final report,
right.
and our presentation for
Citizens Forum.
Citizens Forum.
Citizens Forum.
Okay,
Yeah, it might be a good idea to have a meeting and sort of do a dry run.
yeah,
If it doesn't cost too much for the consultant to come in, and
He'll do it.
I think the only time we're really gonna need Jeff would be at the meeting. I
At
mean,
the meeting.
I mean, we know how he works, he knows, how we work, and I think the only issue there would be to have him there for specific technical questions to the building, that might come up.
and you might brainstorm as, what questions they're gonna ask us,
Yeah,
and they're gonna ask about the money.
oh, yeah, yeah,
But in all reality, the market out there now is beginning to inflate again because, we're past the low where the
oh, yeah. there's no-
recession was. We're
yeah, there's
way
no question
past
about that.
Especially in construction.
Yeah,
Already the parts I buy for my business, they've gone up 7%,
yeah,
that type of
yeah,
stuff.
I personally, I think the number is gonna go from 3 to somewhere closer to 8, but That's my own intuition.
But I think it's defensible. I really do.
Oh, I think it is too. I mean, it's not unexpected. I mean, when was the last time somebody came in and said, we're,
And you're talking, if you don't do this and you try to do it later, we know it's gonna be more, so.
well, I think one of the critical issues here is the history that goes with this, the DPW, the department. I mean, what's happened over the last 60 years, and that's, I think that's the thing, I think, that is not fully realized for those people that aren't familiar with it.
Right. And the fact that the organization is kind of unique.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's new.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have a DPW 3 years ago.
Well, not only that is, there are very few DPWs that I visited where you've got it all in one place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think there's another town on Cape that has incorporated everything in one department.
You need you need to convince people that it's necessary. The building is necessary. That's a big thing I hear. Oh, that's just a discretionary project.
You know what? There's,
Well,
this
to
is,
be frank, there are some people on the finance committee that think that this building was more important than the police station.
yeah, and I think you would find that those people are factually aware. Like I said, once you get back to the history, I mean, just a minor snippet. I was telling Tom the other day, since '59, we've done the library twice, we've done town hall twice, we've done the police station twice, we've done the fire station twice. Nothing has happened to either water, DPW, and we're back to, in essence, in the same facility. Since '78 was the last time anything happened. And you just can't have, this amount of infrastructure and equipment. We have $3.5 million worth of equipment that's part of this now. And it's, nothing's changed in 55, 60 years.
It's a far cry from Freddie Mayo.
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
How
That's
about
for
Norman
sure.
Hopkins?
Yeah.
Don't forget Abby's Hill. I didn't know for years who Abby was. It was his sister.
Well, buddy, we'll have you there to
Historical
fill in the archives.
Historical backup.
Yeah, all right.
I wonder if part of the slideshow should include specific areas of town which are maintained by Parks and Rec, that kind of thing, which are assets of the town.
Yep.
Basically, what we do, kind of.
What you do, exactly.
As I was saying to him, I just did a survey of all the DPW buildings, 19 of them,
Yeah.
and various,
Really?
you got band shells, you got
Right.
Yep.
housing down by Skakit, you got housing by Beach Road, you got Pilgrim Lake. All of those things are gonna go to rack and ruin, and then all of those
Right.
departments go to rack and ruin if we don't do
You
something.
got Nauset Beach, you got, Beaver, it might be,
Yeah, I
interesting
think,
if
I
you
think
ever
a
took
little, some kind of a little short slideshow to show what you guys do on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis might not be a bad idea, because I think people just, they ride around, I don't think they think about it.
So I'm sorry.
Yeah, but also, you need to have a slide in there and show what it actually looks like today.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
absolutely,
that's-
right.
If,
right.
Yeah,
if if you go to that highway garage,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty evident. I mean, you don't have to be knowledgeable to know that that's, well past due. I mean,
Right.
that's done.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't
we all
drive
know
by
it,
it,
but
though.
there's,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
there's
Most people don't know where it is. I
Most
mean,
people don't even know where it is.
Yeah,
so
people,
yeah.
at 2:00 in the morning, the snowplow goes by your house, you don't
Yeah, right.
You don't
So
know. I mean,
most
you just
people-
get up to complain.
I think that's important,
your driveway's been
especially
moved.
with new voters.
Right.
So a year and a half to 2 years ago, give or take, I did initial May of 14. I did an initial presentation to the Board of Selectmen. And honestly, it's about 130-something slides. Don't get scared by that. So when I do PowerPoint, I don't do bullets. It's a picture. It's boom. You see it. And then boom, boom, boom. I keep it, keep you guys awake. Keep the crowd, whoever's watching. We go back to presentation in a minute. But after that, about a month later, I was down at Doan Road, the stairs. I was down there. This guy, no idea. I didn't have any idea what the guy was at the time. Comes up to me. He says, "Saw your presentation. Unbelievable." And it was pictures, exactly what you guys are talking about. Existing situation. What do the facilities look like? And he said that unbelievable. That was so telling. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, but what you're talking about, what we do as part of that, it was 130 slides. Took me about 22 minutes. That's it, which isn't a long time to go through that. Now, there was some repetition, and there's a little more detail than it needs to be. But I think I have most of what you're talking about already. We just have to
fine.
fine tune it and make it
Yeah, I
better.
think 22
Yeah.
minutes is too long a time, though.
That's what I mean. We need
Half of that.
but to do all of what we're talking about, you know what I mean? We're gonna
Yeah.
have to really I get the nuts and bolts, the bones of it, have to
Right.
make it efficient.
Right.
You know, we trim it out a bit, but I think we have a lot of it, you know,
Yeah.
exactly what you said, what we do, who we are, what the current facilities look like.
Right.
And then we can get into what we've done, you know, the
How many
plans
people?
and this and that. Huh?
Yeah,
How many people?
Right.
Oh, people, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, there's also, you know, there's the dynamic of the beach, which is, you know, part of this whole thing too, which I think everybody's pretty much aware of what's scale-wise.
There's certainly where, how many times you had to rebuild the stairway, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. All right.
Meeting-wise, I think you got into this talking about your next meeting, I think, right? Next agenda items?
Yeah.
So I was just looking at the calendar quick. So we're meeting, the Citizens Forum's on the 31st. The week prior is the 24th. That gives us a good month to put it all together
Yep.
and then try it out on you guys a week before, and then a week to fine-tune it before the meeting, if that works for you guys.
Okay. Do we want to set another meeting?
Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
have to do it pretty soon, too.
Yeah, we are, is right.
Well, that's, like I said, the 24th is 4 weeks, and then that gives us another week. We're gonna need at least, I'm gonna need at least 2 minimum, preferably 3 weeks to put this stuff together comfortably
Yeah.
with everything else going on.
What's 3/24? Oh, it's Thursday?
It's a Thursday,
Yeah, the 24th of this Thursday?
Do it on
In fact, yeah, the week
St.
prior.
Patrick's Day.
I'm tied up that day.
Yeah,
Yeah, something I have to go to that day. Many opportunities,
yeah.
actually.
Okay, so we saying the 24th? Is that what we're shooting for?
That's,
That works for
4
you guys?
o'clock? All right.
And so agenda items would be.
So that's only gonna give you that one meeting prior to the Citizens Forum.
Yeah, I think we'll be all right that way. What could go out beyond this is the final report. I
Correct.
don't know, you know,
Is there a drop dead date on that?
not really.
Not really, as long as it's available well before town
Town
meeting.
meeting.
If it's ready by the mid-April, that'd be fine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think we pretty
Yeah.
much already got our placeholder as far as the capital plan is
Mhm,
concerned, so I mean, that was the big issue.
the 24th, you plan on doing a dry run?
The 24th, I'd like to go over an outline for a final report.
I meant for the
Yeah,
presentation.
but also
Yeah,
do
we
a
also
dry
need to
run.
do the
He can
And
bring
we'll-
his
yeah.
slides in and
Yeah.
do it.
And we'll
Do
do
the whole thing?
Yeah, and we'll do.
You'll
You
be
probably
doing the
should
whole thing?
plan
Yeah.
on a little longer than this meeting is gonna be.
Yeah,
That might take a little time.
yeah, yeah.
So, Tom is gonna you're gonna get all of the background
I'll get
information?
all that stuff to him, probably
And
start
then all you
tomorrow.
gotta do is,
Yeah.
You can start putting together a final report, then, we'll have the placeholder for the peer review as part of that, and I'll start putting together, I'll start working with Jeff right away about these other questions. The rate of return, what did you call it? The
Return on investment.
return on investment, thank you. It's not looking at vehicles, efficiencies, utilities, maintenance, because I don't think it'll be custodial, but we'll address it either
Yeah.
way. We'll go through all that, start getting Jeff working on that, and I'll start putting that all together with the presentation.
that's for FinCom though, right?
No,
It'll be all part of
I think
it,
it'll
though.
lead
We'll
up
have
to
to
it.
have the answers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have
Yeah,
to
here
have it
again, I
all.
didn't give FinCom a hard date that I'd be back to him. I told him, you know, it'd be a few weeks when we finally had all our stuff collected and.
Well, my only point was, I've been in a lot of the OCS. I would be surprised if anybody asked a question about rate of return. Not saying they won't, but I don't think so,
We're,
personally.
okay, that,
They are more like questions like, do you really need to build
Yeah,
this
right.
building?
Is
Do
it
you
Yeah,
really
no.
Does it
need
have to
a-
cost that much? Exactly.
Yeah.
And why do you
Yeah.
need it?
You know.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree, yeah.
yeah,
A little more on the generic side, broader brush.
Yeah, I don't think you need to get into the detail that the finance committee is gonna wanna hear.
yeah. But, if that information was available, then.
Then you have it.
Then you have it, that's
You
correct.
know, because
Right.
it wouldn't be unheard of that somebody would ask, you know,
And if someone does bring it up, I'd like to have the answer.
yeah, yeah, the last thing we want here is, you know, I haven't done my homework, I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, especially Freddie
don't know.
Peralta.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've hit everything else. But, yeah. Okay. Have we, anything else? All right, I move that, we adjourn.
A second.
And do I hear a vote?
Aye.
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 Once again, unanimous.